What's going on, everybody? Drew Danger back on the scene. It has been a while. Things are really hectic, really kind of crazy, really kind of out of place right now. Um, I mean, it's going good for the most part. Family's good and stuff, but it's just there's a lot going on right now. So I apologize for being away for a good period of time. Um, just wanted to at least get a couple videos knocked out for you guys so we could have some discussion, so we could share some thoughts, so we could illuminate and educate each other at this time. So again, I apologize for not being around. So I'm going to do a part 1 and part 2 of each video and try that out and see how you guys like that. That was a good suggestion given to me. So we're going to try that out today. All right, guys. So before we get started, how's everybody doing? And today is the 35th anniversary of the Transformers. Not talking about that Michael Bay stuff. Not talking about the other things. I'm talking about the original 84 through we could say about 89. Generation 1, Transformers, Autobots Transform and Rollout, Peter Cullen, Frank Welker, Transformers, the good golden years. And actually, my son and I went and saw the special, only a few days in theaters, original 86 Transformers animated movie. And that was fun, reliving that with him and being there again after all those years. So, it's fantastic. All right, guys, so let's get into it. So I noticed that you guys kind of like a lot of deeper videos, which I'm still going to equal it out. Come on, guys, we can't make it all the deep videos. There's got to be some silver lining with everything. But I hear you. And they're still happening. Okay, so since it's been a while, okay, let's talk about a deeper, darker subject, because you guys really seem to enjoy that, and I try to aim to please as much as I can. Okay, so here we go. This is a story I'm going to share with you guys. This is a obviously very true story. This is something that I have suppressed in my mind for a long time. I've talked about it recently within this year for the first time in over 20 something years. So I'm going to talk about it, and I'm going to talk about, I had a foster brother by the name of Raheem Sylvester. I believe I have a picture somewhere, but I've got to get it out. It was hard for me to look at. And I'll tell you why. So back in the early 90s, you're looking at about 91, 90, 91, 92, around there. My parents decided to do foster care, and they took in, a couple kids, and one of them was a guy named Raheem. Now, Raheem was actually a lot older than me. So he was I think he was like a year or two from graduating from high school. So he was a teenager when I was 8 years old, around there. And, he was a neat guy. He came from a very roughed up upbringing because he had been in the foster system for a good while. I'm not sure how many years, like I said, I was 8, so I can't pinpoint. By the time you start catching on and you're an adult or an older teenager and all that stuff like that, all this time would have gone by, and you don't get a lot of those conversations with people sometimes, unfortunately. But anyway, the thing about this was that Raheem came from a very troubled background. He came through a lot of obstacles and things like that, and he was still going through it. And because he was a foster kid, he didn't really know how to act and do and be, in a lot of ways, because, a lot of foster kids, they get passed around from house to house to house. They don't really get any grounding anywhere. Very seldom do people take a liking to them and get them lined up, and very seldom do people, let's be honest, guys, let's be real, even adopt them. They just, oh, okay, and then they pass them off to the next, kind of family or something like that. So I wanted to talk about my foster brother a little bit, a lot. Okay. So just bear with me. I'm trying to get all these thoughts together of a long time ago. And he was just a very lost young man, and he was soon going to be coming into the world as an adult, and he didn't know how to act in some situations, and how to do, and how my parents, they come in, they didn't teach him a lot of those things. They didn't help him with a lot of those things. They did the bare bones minimum, they might have done a little something extra, like clothes or something like that. But, not really all my parents, like one parent, maybe. But particularly my father was very judgmental and very harsh. Now that comes from my dad being from the 1930s born, different generation, being from segregation and living poor means on a Arkansas farm. So he was very different. And I'm not excusing him at all. I'm just giving you guys the background. He was very different on how he ran things and how he chose to do things. So he was not very supportive of Raheen, and he did not help him grow at all. Matter of fact, he put him down. He called him lazy. He disrespected him. He really put him out there. And what he did not realize is that Raheen, like I said, he's lost. My father did not pay attention to that. He thought when you get to a certain age, you're going to have it all figured out. It's all going to be together. It's going to work. Here you go. He's big. He's tall. He's got it. And that's not the situation. Raheen was really looking for a father. Raheen was really looking for a family. Raheen was really looking for a place to belong, and he never got that in my house. So he just went into it being lost, unfortunately. And, years went on. I saw him when I was about 13, I believe, was the last time I remember seeing him. And by that time, he had gone to the Navy, seen the world a little bit. But when you talk to him, it was still that anger, that loss, it was still there, and, I really tried to connect with him. And I remember when he first, I think when he was on leave from the Navy, when I was still a younger kid, he came home, brought me some gifts. I don't want to leave that out. And that was a good time. And I always thought the world of him, but it was hard because when you have your parents kind of going against the grain, but you're trying to go in another direction, they don't approve of it, and you're a kid, you're living in their house and all that stuff like that. And so, they don't want you to connect with them. You're still very nice to them, but it's just like, oh, I can't because my parents are going to be mad, kind of situation. So that made things very difficult for me to reach out, because if I could have reached out a lot more or called them or seen them a lot more, that would have been great. But that wasn't the case. So time went on. Situations for him, as you would hope, would get better, but they did not. They didn't get better for him. unfortunately. So by the time I had gotten to my first year in high school, there was a young girl I knew that her brother was friends with him. Like they were real tight. And she asked me when I was in high school um, if I had heard about him. And I said, no, what's going on? How things going? And she's all, he's dead. And I said, dead? Well, what happened? And so she went on to tell me that Raheen, he felt very alone. He saw his friends kind of coming along, getting married, starting families, and things just didn't work out for him because he was really in a place and he needed help and he never got that help. And therefore he couldn't evolve to the next stage of life. And because he didn't, he took his own life. Unfortunately, he shot himself and it was horrible. And he was cremated, and he was apparently before it happened, it was something he was very ashamed of how his life turned out and everything like that. And it was just really a sad time for me. And it's a memory that I suppressed. And I think that we suppress sometimes really painful memories, not just painful memories, memories of things that we may not be able to help. In that time, in that place, in that situation, I couldn't really help him. And that's why I suppressed that memory because it was like I really couldn't help him. I couldn't help him. You turn on the light. I couldn't help him in any way. And because of that, I suppressed the memory because it was so painful because I could not help him. I was ashamed of what mockery my family, just the way they treated him. It was an insult, it was a slap in the face. So I couldn't fully look at myself or go through life knowing that. I knew it was a subject I have to face because I've told you guys on the channel, we have to face our fears. And I faced my fear of it. But the thing is, it's still tearing apart at me, man. It's still getting to me, guys, because it was such a tragedy. I mean, Raheen was not a stupid guy. He was very smart. He was very with it. He just needed a chance. He just needed a family. He needed someone to believe in him. He needed somebody to care. He needed someone to show him what all that meant. And he was rejected and just rejected and rejected and rejected and rejected until, he didn't think he had any purpose here. And that's the sad thing, and that's what I want to tell you guys out there in YouTube land is if you're in a position to help, please. If you're a young kid in that position, I get it. Or you were young when it happened, yeah. But sometimes it sucks. That's how life rolls. You can't stop it because you're a kid. You can't make any changes. But the people that can make changes are the adults around. The people that chose to get involved with this young man or whoever your person may be. They can actually do something. But how many people really do? How many people think about it? How many people really get up and really make a change and really do things differently and go beyond themselves and get dirty and get in the mud and the mess and the war to help someone and pull them out and bring them to a better place in their life? How many people are really out there trying to do that? You have to ask yourself that question. I have a quick answer. Not very many people. That's what I found out when I got into the world. Not many people. That's the tough thing, guys. These are been some thoughts, going on in my head about that situation, about where we are. All right, guys. Part 2, next video. We're going to talk about it. Same danger time, same danger channel. Okay, guys? Now, this is a rough one, but we're going to get through the storm. All right. Drew Danger, out.